and strive your mad.
Guiding I eternally. Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free. Guide I.
Emerging from a cocoon into a caterpillar, from a caterpillar to a butterfly. The metamorphosis is here, is live. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, word, sound and power, music, drumming, current affairs, everything to grow and lift up your mind. Metamorphosis.
No more youths and youths for sale. We get wise and don't decide to change their style. Bobby wrong, keep your empty promises and your crooked smile. Metamorphosis, come with your thoughts, change your way of thinking. Metamorphosis, the change begins with you.
Men of Carthage, Black men of Ethiopia, Timbuktu, Alexandria gave the light of civilization to this world. Ethiopia shall stretch forth our hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt.
Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free. Guide I.
Good evening, I'm on Blak.
Good evening.
This is Pauline from St. Mary. Calling to big you up on your program. I am a disciple. I've been there since almost the inception.
Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free.
I just you may have to tune into because, I always even watch some other television and stuff, and that I have to see for later. I have to really listen to you first, you know what I mean?
How ma one one machi kumbachna Africa dafa bachna kidafanya kidafarafet one machi kiwunjul kidafarunjul one yandeke sawai kidafarunjul one machi kiwunjul kidafarunjul dafnin rafet yomenta menda ingama dafnin rafet yomenta menda ingara dafnin rafet yomenta menda ingara. Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know that's a richer Africa? Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Did you know? Said the whole world love it. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of that what you got. Be proud.
To walk the streets, paved with blood.
away from Africa with the intention to steal our culture. The good father passed by and said, humble yourself, my children. Humble yourself, my little ones. Humble yourself. Oh, my brother,
African female. She is the head of her family. The African female is the head of her family. The European male is the head of his household. The European male is the head of his household. African woman is the head of her family. Can we see beyond the violence? Can we see beyond the terror? Metamorphosis. After 500 years of colonization, the Africans must begin the process of decolonizing the mind. Decolonization, an important process to counteract
the trauma of colonization. And decolonization requires a psychology of liberation. We need a liberation psychology to advance the decolonization process. It's psychological, it's mental. We're going to deal with it in this metamorphosis.
Get up and fight for your rights, brothers. Get up and fight for your rights, sisters. Get up and fight for your rights, brothers. Get up and fight for your rights, sisters.
Greetings, greetings, Tinastilin, Eli them, Eli. Give thanks for another occasion to communicate ideas and thoughts, feelings, concepts. An opportunity to visit ideologies, institutional frameworks, to examine, to explore, to open up channels of thought and to liberate the consciousness. Consciousness is the force. Consciousness is present from inception. And consciousness occupies all parts of the body. Because at the very foundation, our cells are conscious. There's consciousness in each cell, and there's memory in each cell. So the liberation process, the decolonization of the mind begins with that complete examination and exploration of the mind itself and the contents of the mind, the organization and structure of the mind. Is it, as we are told, three-storied? Is it a three-part structure? What is the nature of the mind of the African? So we need to decolonize, but we need to understand what is it that we're actually decolonizing. What is the real end product of colonization? What has been the result of colonization that we now must engage in a process of decolonization? Is it any different from unlearning? Difficult process. We're in a difficult condition. And so we're going to deal with liberation psychology. And by that, we're going to explore a particular concept in this metamorphosis. And the concept that we're going to engage in is one that has befuddled many black thinking people over the last 500 years of our incarceration. This idea is not even often examined or even challenged. It has been given, and we have embraced, and we have been passing it on from generation to generation. And the idea that we want to explore now is that of the Trinity. What exactly is the meaning of Trinity? We have been given it from a religious perspective. Are there any other ways of examining exactly what is a Trinity? So we're going to deal with that within this exploration and see the impact that that idea has had on black people for the amount of time we have been in the West. This thing called Trinity, where we hear that it is a mystical thing of one thing being three and the three things being one. And it's all supposed to be mysterious. We're going to engage in that, taking off some of the mystique from that mystery, and see if in that process we can come a little bit closer to who I and I really is. So again, give thanks for another occasion. Welcome first-time listeners. Welcome to the continuous soldiers of the metamorphosis as we work to transform mentality from one of servitude and servileness and service to one of mastery. And not mastery of any other, but mastery of the inner powers, mastery of the I, mastery of the self. So we're going to explore those things. We're going to check out what is the power of three. What's the significance of three? Number three. What is a Trinity? Where does it exist? So, get up your meditation. We're going to explore ourselves on this metamorphosis.
Shall not enter. These are all along. We walk on a true monster, sipping from the cup of peace. Chant down a Babylon, chant down Babylon, chant down a Babylon, chant down Babylon. Praise to the whole man of creation. Chant down no Babylon, chant down Babylon, chant down Babylon, chant down Babylon. Give thanks and praise, give thanks and praise, give thanks and praise. Thanks and praise to the whole man of creation.
Ideas rule the world. Yes, ideas rule the world. And all ideas or notions are created by the brain. And all notions that are created by the brain exist in the subconscious mind of man. And the subconscious mind of man is the reservoir, is the storehouse for all of the ideas of man, all of his feelings, thoughts. The reservoir for all of these energies are in the subconscious of the mind. And so I start by saying that because The idea that I and I want to examine is the idea or the concept of the Trinity. And I'm saying from the outset that this idea has had a profound impact on the life, on the personality, and on the thinking, and on the behavior of large populations of black people, African people, in the manner of how I and I have been programmed to internalize this idea of the Trinity. So I am saying now that this idea is so entrenched, it is so much embedded within the consciousness of a people that is hardly ever even questioned. It's like it is so given that you don't consider that it could be even examined. Which is exactly why the metamorphosis now will take up the task of examining this concept called the Trinity and ask my listeners to do their own exploration. And what does the Trinity mean to you as an idea? So I want to begin first by looking at the notion, the idea of the Trinity. And I know that from the beginning, African people, black people in this Western plantation have been given one version of the Trinity, one way to view the concept of the Trinity, and it's through the lens of religion. But I'm going to classify that Trinity as the Roman Catholic Trinity. So there's a concept of the Trinity that has been developed by the Roman Catholic Church. And I will speak to that a little bit further down within the program. But I want to look at the word itself, Trinity. Where it comes from? How does it really provide any support in helping to understand what this word means, or what the idea ultimately must convey? And the word Trinity comes from the language of the Romans, Latin, Trinitas, and it means the number 3. So Trinity really means in Latin the number 3, a triad, T-R-I-A-D, or T-R-I as a prefix. So first you're going to realize now that Trinity really means number 3. And so to get a better understanding of what the Trinity means, we have to look into what is really the significance or the importance of number 3. Because the idea that we have as a Western plantocracy is that the Trinity is an idea of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. And that can be interpreted now on several levels within various spheres of how we exist. This whole notion of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Where and what does that idea really represent? And we have to move way beyond now the Christian version of Trinity, because man and civilizations in the earth long before Christians and long before Arabs and long before a lot of these Western developed cultures and civilizations. So we have to look out now and search out now for what is the nature and the power behind this concept or this number, which is 3. And we'll start examining our own selves as man, what they want to call human beings. There is a view that man is really a threefold in nature. Threefold. 3 segments to man. There are some cultures, and most cultures define man as having a body, a mind, and a soul or a spirit. But there is a notion of the 3 aspects of man. So it appears that the ancients understood the triune nature of existence. And there are various cultures across the world that have long shared the belief that the number 3 represents something sacred. That number 3 represents something mystical, universal, and even divine. So what is this number 3? What is the power of 3? What does it symbolize within numerology? That we can begin to talk about 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. So we're going to examine the power of 3 and the realms in which we can view the Trinity with the hope that we'll be liberating our own consciousness. Metamorphosis.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Great news, everyone. DIB Block Factory and Hardware Supplies located at 44 William Street, Port Antonio. Now open every Sunday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Stop in and beat the Monday crowd. Get the same great service on a more convenient day. Doing some work on a Sunday, run out of material? No need to worry. DIB Hardware will be there to serve you. Still the #1 supplier in Portland of building materials, hardware supplies, kitchen and bathroom finishes. DIB Hardware Port Antonio. Now open this and every Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 44 William Street, Port Antonio. See you there.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Architects, draftsmen, and surveyors, get your drawings printed in high-quality professional standards. We can satisfy your printing needs. Whether it is for presentation to your clients or for submitting building and subdivision application, make it VJ Printing Services. Whether drawing by hand or with computer-aided softwares, we will plot your negatives and print the copies as you need. We do high-quality white paper printing that is water-resistant and never fades, unlike traditional blueprint. For more information, call VJ Printing at 893-2266.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Ditchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
can't understand. That's why we can't understand. We are the same descendants from the African race. The African race.
Yeah, metamorphosis going on. Speaking directly to the descendants of the African people who were brought here in tribulation and forced into labor and given forced education and fears and taboos and all sorts of things to control and eventually colonize the mind of the Africans. And within all of that colonization, certain amount of ideas have been injected into our subconscious. One of the ideas that we're exploring right now is the idea of the Trinity. What role does this idea play in the life of black people generally? What does it mean to you when you hear the word Trinity? Does it make you feel overwhelmed? Is it something that you think that you can't manage because you just can't understand it and your mind just go boggle and your computer just push a pure white screen? Nothing at all, blank screen. This 1 in 3 and 3 in 1 concept, boggling. But if we begin to back off of the religious version and begin to examine what it is in its practical and scientific terms, we may find that we get a sense of relief from some deeply embedded fears that we have been carrying around. And a lot of these fears come with certain ideas that have been planted. So again, the word Trinity simply means three, coming from the Latin. Tri, is a prefix. So you have a triangle and you have a tricycle, 3 wheels, 3 angles. So the ancients put a sort of magic now to the nature and the power of 3. And it is demonstrated and reflected now right through nature and through societies and through cultures. This whole idea of 3 is even considered to be the perfect number, the unifier of dualities. There are groups that refer to the number 3 as the number of integration. There's a Greek who is given a lot of credit in mathematics called Pythagoras. He went into Egypt and plagiarized all of the mathematical formulas and that you all hear about Pythagoras' theorem now. It's piracy that. But Pythagoras now, he is a man who to teach that everything in the universe has a 3-part structure. And he thought that every problem in the universe could be reduced to a triangle and the number 3. Of course, Pythagoras received this knowledge from the ancient Egyptians. And the Egyptians argued that their knowledge came from the gods. So, this concept of the tree, of the Trinity, is an ancient concept within civilizations and cultures. So the ancient black man, the ancient Asiatic, had his own versions of the power of number 3, of the Trinity. And when you begin to look into nature, the atmosphere, earth life, and the powers of fire, water, and air, these are 3 natural forces around which nearly everything revolves. Fire, water, and air. 1 in 3 and 3 in 1. Atmosphere. You're going to realize that there are enough things that fit that expression of 1 in 3 and 3 in 1. The atom. The atom is the basic unit of matter. And that's what defines structure in all elements, the atoms. And significantly, the atom is made up of 3 main parts. Again, we're talking about number 3, a trinity. The proton, the neutron, and the electrons. The atom is one molecule, but it's three parts that make up one. It's 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. So we can find the Trinity as a concept operating in nature at the level of the atom. And all things materially are made up of atoms. 1 in 3 and 3 in 1. So I try to show them now, so this notion of a Trinity is not something that we're supposed to go on like we want afraid of, or something that is overpowering, All living organisms on Earth depend on 3 types of molecules. Again, the number 3. All living things, for them biological functions. In other words, DNA, RNA, and the proteins. Without DNA, and without RNA, and without the proteins, there's no known form of life that could exist. So, again, it's a trinity. It's a 3 forces moving and operating as one. We have to recognize now that we have to break away from this locked into religious version of Trinity and realize that it comes into the earth very recently as a religious Christian doctrine. The number 3, you find it has meaning in ancient cultures. The Hindus, they had an idea that there was a trinity of supreme beings, a trinity of supreme divinities. 3 of them. One was responsible for creation. One of the divinities was responsible for maintenance, and the other one was responsible for destruction. A triad of deities. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And so, I tell to them now, this notion of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3 is not a Catholic Church invention, but it's a tool that they have been using to manipulate and to put a certain amount of control and fear in the mind of African people. Because when it comes to us looking at the Trinity through the lens of the Catholic Church and the Bible, it has a whole different implication. It actually has a certain level of control and direction over one's and one thinking. So before we can even go to that, I try to show them now that the Trinity exists in nature. The Trinity is simply the matter of 3 forces that work as one. Fire, water, and air. Without those forces, there is no earth life. And we know that the main source of life on earth is the sun. So, we are going to try to help the item to remove the fear of the concept of the Trinity first. Realize that it's the triangle now, The triangle is what creates the most stable construction on the earth. The triangle. Again, based upon 3 angles, 3 edges. The number 3. Have no fear. Because we're going to go into the exploration of the Trinity as it relates to ancient Egyptian culture. And what is the role of the Trinity as it relates to the Roman Catholic culture? And how is it that African people must navigate their way between what is original and ancient and what has been constructed as a part of the enslavement? Metamorphosis.
Jah be praised. The goose and the ghost, let Jah be praised. The Daniel Lamb, let Jah be praised. Let him be praised. Let him be praised. You better let him be praised. He watereth the hills from his chambers, and the earth is satisfied, so satisfied. He maketh the grass to grow for animals. Jah made the herb for man. He made the herb for man. Jah made the herb for man. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like grass, and they shall wither like now scatter, shatter, batter, and flatter. As the smoke is driven away, Jah drive them away. As the wax melted, let them be melted, Jah Jah. Exhibit, let Jah be praised. Daniel Lamb, let Jah be praised. The goose and the ghost, let Jah be praised. You better let him be praised. Let him be praised. You better let him be praised. I said let him be praised. Oh, lightning.
Metamorphosis here, doing a little undercover work, exploring the nature of a number, and the number that we're looking at is number 3. A very significant number in the line of the digits that we have given to us to work with, and it is very prominent in operational activities within nature and society. That whole notion of 3. And I tell you that it is the most stable shape within nature. The shape of the triangle. Which is why the greatest constructions have that as a foundation. And so we can speak to the pyramids. So we talk about Trinity. And it means in the scientific world 3 things. Now this 1 in 3 and 3 in 1. We're going to get to that, because that is what has been driven into our brains about this Father, Mother, and Father, Mother, and Holy Ghost. That is the one that has been driven into I and I now as a Trinity. But I want to show you that even before that was invented and forced upon us, these concepts exist in the universe, in the nature, in cultures. the concept of the Trinity. So, again, there are some societies and cultures who think that 3 is a perfect number. And yet in the Western world, you get the impression that 2 represents some form of evenness. Yeah, even. 2 is supposed to be even, but 3 really is the balance. Yeah, 3 provides balance, 3 dimensions, length, width, and depth. When you have a pair, there is no depth. There is no length and width. So the number 3, again, important in nature. That we have 3 parts to the atom, the proton, the neutron, the electron. 1 positive, 1 negative, the other one neutral. And it helps to maintain the balance. There's fire, water, and air. Without those elements, there's no life on Earth. No life on Earth, as far as I know. Because Earth life requires sun. And the sun provides light and energy. And it is light and energy that these green plants now that we have used to create sugar and starch. And from those now I get energy. Not just I as man, but the animals also eat the plants. And the green plants release oxygen. That there can be respiration and breathing as an activity. So everything is connected. I was seeing that the number 3 is a powerful number. And ultimately, each number has its own set of connections within the universe and within the cosmos. But for now, we want to deal with the Trinity. The fact that we have DNA and RNA and proteins is 3 forces that work as one to create the genetic code. Consists of 3-letter words: ACT and CAG and TTT. So I said to the item now, when we begin to really examine now the Trinity that they give us, you're going to realize that there are some serious amount of trappings within that concept of the Trinity. We see that even before we get to Christian concept of the Trinity, the Hindus, as I said earlier, they had their trinity of supreme divinities. We find it in Hinduism. And they realized that existence had to have 3 forces. A force that is responsible for the creation, and they call this force the Brahma. And there's a force that is responsible for the maintenance, and they call this force Vishnu. And there's a force that is responsible for destruction, and they call it Shiva. So the man, they're more practical in them construction of them theology and them philosophy. Realize that there's creation, maintenance, and destruction. And to each of those is attributed and ascribed to a different force. So the Trinity, a triad of deities, has been around as a concept within the ancient Hinduism. When we come closer to home, meaning African, Egyptian concepts of the Trinity, we find that 2,500 years before Jesus of Nazareth, the Egyptian god Osiris and his wife Isis and his son Horus, they, within the Egyptian mythology, forms a trinity. Horus the father, Horus the son rather, Osiris the father, Isis the mother. And so the father, mother, child concept for Trinity has been in Egyptian African consciousness for 2,500 years before we were introduced to the concept of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So we have these memories in our subconscious mind. And we have to talk a little bit further now about how memories are stored genetically. And how is it genetical memories are passed on. And that all of these things are within us. It's just to shake up the computer and to get the files that have been buried to come to the surface. So the ancient Egyptians also had a concept of a trinity, represented by a father, a mother, and a child. And this concept would move beyond just religion to impact on the social life, because this concept becomes the foundation of the family. Yeah, the mother, the father, and the child. So we have to check where we're coming from. We have to check the various ways of viewing the concept of the Trinity. See it within science, it's within culture, it's within social organization and structure. And ultimately we're going to visit what is it that give us with this Holy Ghost that has taken us out of our natural ways of operating. Metamorphosis.
The best event of the summer is back. Styles FM Fan Fusion Party, Episode 5, Tipsy Island. Saturday, July 7th, 2018 at Bayview Waterfront Property, Oysters Bay, Port Antonio, Jamaica. Come hear Styles FM finest DJs juggling retro hits. Retro Gunya style from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Admission $500 pre-sold, $800 at the gate. VIP $2,500. Party starts at 7 p.m. sharp. Listen to Styles FM for ticket outlets or call 876-518-2399. Fan Fusion Party, Tipsy Island. Dress tropically elegant. Fan Fusion is not just a party, it's an experience.
Must be 18 years and older to enter. ID required. Drink responsibly. Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill. They offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
It's Wow Factor Tuesdays with Chungy and Shelly. Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's entertainment and interaction at its best, with features like the Share to Care segment, the Uprising 10 Countdown, and the ever-controversial Love Break. Yes, it's the Wow Factor. Your Tuesday mornings will never be the same again.
Wow Factor Tuesdays is sponsored by Wholesale Photo Lab Studio and DocuCenter and Bobby's Cafe Bar and Grill.
Good morning, Heavenly Father.
5 a.m., the Lord's Hour on Styles FM 96.1 and 96.7. Tune in to be blessed and inspired by the Word of God and uplifting gospel music. Start your day right. Start it with the Lord's Hour.
How are you today?
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
Remember Styles FM on social media. View us on YouTube, Styles FM Radio. Follow us on Instagram at Styles FM. Like us on Twitter at Styles FM 961. Become a fan on Facebook, Styles FM 96.1.
Jambo, vipi, karibuni katika kipindi cha Doc Iman Black, kipindi chaitwa Metamorphosis. Jifundishe, elimika na mwelimike.
Sounds of Stepping Razor, Peter Touch. 500 years of the same philosophy. And if the philosophy remains the same, it matters not how the economics vary. It matters not much how the education changes if the philosophy remains the same. And the philosophy that has been given to Africans in this Western plantation is basically grounded in a European system of thought. A system of thought that keeps African people in denial of their own power. And the denial of your own power rests in the ideas that you hold. So the ideas are the power. And ideas control the world. Ideas control the mind. But ideas are also created by the brain. And so if you don't have the confidence that your brain can create ideas, you become a victim of others who are thinking. So we have been given some ideas, a lot of ideas, that have been well quoted by European thoughts. And one of the ones critical that I am examining now is the idea of the Trinity. And I want to just put up on the WhatsApp, say Trinity was a cowboy. Yeah, we don't understand the humor. We understand the humor. But within the whole concept of the philosophy now, the average black man or woman in the Western world who is a descendant of the captive enslaved population relates Trinity to religion. And not just religion, to Christianity. And sometimes without understanding that Christianity is not just what it is, but we're talking about a Catholic-driven ideology based on the Catholic Church. And also the Catholic Church we talk about specifically now the Rome, this Vatican City, and we're talking about the philosophy of Rome. It's the same Rome that invaded Egypt, you know. It's the same Rome that overpowered Egypt sometime around 50 BC. It's the same Rome that is still in the earth today. We don't see the armies physically, but they have their ecclesiastical workers, them pastors and them preachers, and they deal with the mind. So, this concept of a Trinity is not a religious originated concept. It's about the number 3. And we see the number 3 and 3 in operation all around us, as I'm trying to point out. And in different ways and in different cultures, the number 3 has a significant power. It's a balancing number. So I always think if one man have 2 women, it's a balance. Yeah, and if a woman have 2 men, it's a balance. 3 is a critical number, and the way it is organized in society and how we think it through. So we have been given something that is familiar to us, but it has been twisted. So the concept of the Trinity that I knew before coming to the West was one that was based upon social organization, the family. And the foundation of the family now, within this context, is not the male. I said today, I don't know, the foundation of this Black African family is the female. And that the female is the head of the African family. It's this Western white man patriarchal framework that them push on us, that suddenly we are growing to about say man is in charge. And the man is the head of the household. The white man is the head of his household. He's the head of his household. The woman is the head of the African family. And I don't have a household. And I have family. And we're coming from a tradition where the female has been the holder of the family. She holds the family together. She protects the family and she protects the man. What does a man do? The man defend the family. Yeah, him defend it and she protect it. But she is at the forefront. And so she is supreme within the structure that I know. So the Trinity that I knew had the woman as supreme. Yeah, at the head of the whole triangle was the woman, the female. We had matriarchal societies where even descendants and property and inheritance was through the female. Since we're coming to this Western plantation, the thing reversed now, you know. And they have told us in their education system that the male must be the head. That is contradictory to African tradition. We don't need no male head. The man know himself. It is the white man who must insist that him is the head of his household because he insists on keeping his woman as a slave. So him have a slave, him have 2 dogs and some kids. He don't even call them offspring, him call them kids. So him have a woman who have a slave, him have kids who we call young goat and 2 dogs. And that is his household. We are not of that ilk. We are coming from a family structure where dynasties would be controlling our society. And we have examples where the dynasty has reached the point where the female becomes a pharaoh. We don't have no issues there, you know. And as black people don't have them, with the white man have them gender issue, you know, and supremacy struggle between female and male. We don't know that, you know. That's something with them put from, you know, since we come into the West. And we have adapted it now, and we have acclimatized to it now. That man that about, well, you know, he's the head of the household and he must have dominion over all things. This is a European phraseology that conflict how black people and black man and woman move naturally. So the Trinity now, as a concept, given to us through church, tells us that it represents the divine force, the one supreme force. And this one supreme force now can manifest itself in 3 different forms. This is the concept of the Trinity now that they impose upon I. Now we don't know the concept of the Trinity exists long time, you know. I would say it in the atom. It's in the Hindu culture. It's in the old ancient Asian cultures where 3 forces operate as one. So this one now becomes more befuddling. Because out of this one divine force now comes a white male as a son, a Caucasian. And this is where the problem begins to multiply itself. And the problem is compounded now because it is a Holy Ghost that is considered the other aspect of the Trinity. And there's no female. So it's something that is totally totally out of whack for the consciousness of black people. That has sent us totally out of orbit. And this Trinity concept now is what the Catholic Church has come up with. And the first of the early Christian churches and the men them to talk about the word Trinity was in this 2nd century, you know. It's just recently now the Europeans now start grapple with this concept of a Trinity. And there's a man called Theophilus of Antioch. He is the one who was credited with defining the word Trinity as God. His word and his wisdom. So the Europeans now are coming up with a whole version now of a thing called the Trinity. We're talking about the 2nd century. Just when here. And this doctrine now that the Europeans come up with the Trinity now, it had to be defended in arguments. That by the 3rd century, another man come up now with another argument. And him start define the Trinity as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So this concept of the Trinity from the perspective of the Catholic Church has been going through its own evolution to the point now that they're comfortable with the concept of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Previously it was the Holy Ghost, but because Casper was around and Casper was a friendly ghost, it didn't look good for the Catholic Church to be promoting a Holy Ghost. And they made a subtle shift from ghost to spirit. And so this is what generally now most black people embrace when you speak to them about Trinity. It's a concept, it's an idea of a Father and a Son and a Ghost. And these three forces supposed to symbolize and represent the Creator. And if you remember what I'm telling you earlier now, you know, within the Hindu culture, you know, them have them Trinity, and the Creator is one aspect of the Trinity. Because there's also the destroyer and there's the maintenance. So I begin to see that this thing we can break the shackle. We can break the shackle of dependency and fear on this Holy Ghost Trinity. And we have to recognize even more that the removal of the female from the Christian Trinity is a sign of a type of sexuality that is dysfunctional. Because here you have three forces now, and they don't correlate with each other. They don't balance each other. The way the proton, the neutron, and the electron balance each other. Here we have male, male, and male energy. The Father is male, the Son is male, and the Holy Ghost is male. So we have three similar energies in this particular Trinity. And we look around the world and within the nature, the three forces that make up any Trinitarian unit usually balance each other. So message to the item now, we must begin to revisit this Trinity that we're embracing. This Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. This Father, Son, without any femininity, without any female energy in this Trinity, without any complementary forces. We find that this Christian Trinity is off balance. And so the majority of believers in this doctrine must check themselves again and check on the role of the feminine principle within all of creation. Metamorphosis. Yes, Peter Mackenzie, I see the I text. Mother, father, and child. Heaven, hell, and earth. Neutron, proton, electron. Sun, moon, and stars. Yeah, the tree, the Trinity. All around us. Osar, Oset, and Heru. Osar, Oset, and Heru. The Trinity. Mother, father, and child. Long before the Greeks even came out of the caves. The ancient Africans overstood the power of the tree, the Trinity, the triangle, the pyramid. Of course, the Europeans, in their captivity, in their capture, lock into some of these ideas. Because we know everything that we have, those people stole. And they have manipulated our knowledge against us. So, the concept of the Trinity, I am one, as I said to the item now, I don't know if we really ever sit down once or really think out this thing carefully, or we pretend as though it is bigger than us. And it's a mystery, so we have to leave it alone. It's 1 in 3 and 3 in 1. These are ideas, and all ideas are created by the brain. And ideas are stored. If not in written format, they are stored in a subconscious brain, in the subconscious mind. And there's a deeper level of storage as it relates to the African. Because the African now is endowed not just with a subconscious mind, but there is also a collective unconscious. A realm of consciousness that carries the memories of the ancestors, ancestral forces, ancestral memories. And so I carry these memories. These memories are deep within the subconscious, deep within the collective unconscious. Deeper than the brain, it goes deep into the skin. So the collective unconscious now is a region of the mind that is not spoken about often. They make you feel that you just have a subconscious mind and a conscious. But there is the collective unconscious. This is the aspect of the mind that has all experiences that has ever been recorded in the lifetime of man. millions and millions of years of experience and memories are within the collective unconscious. But why we're not really familiar with the collective unconscious? When, you know, it would make the third element, third section of the mind. They only tell us about two, the conscious and the subconscious. The third is the most forceful and the most potent, the collective unconscious. They don't tell us about that. But I want to segue now into what they tell us. Because when it comes to the mind and the powers of thinking, remember now, you know, if you can diminish a man's thinking power, the closer you are to making him dependent on you, and the closer you are to turning him into a slave. So again, we're still looking at the concept of three, the Trinity. So besides the religious manipulation of the concept of the Trinity, there's also a Trinitarian concept now within the psychology that they apply to us. And this psychology now is established by a man called Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud is considered to be the father of European psychoanalysis. And black people now, we have to be careful now, because now we're going under a different kind of spell when we talk about psychology and psychoanalysis, because the psychology that is applied to black people in this Western Hemisphere, it's not tailored for black people. It's not organized as an uplifting psychology or a liberating psychology. It's one of capture. It's a psychology that maintains the colonization of the mind. So an important agent of this colonization now is Sigmund Freud. Because Sigmund Freud again draws upon the idea of three and suggests that, yes, there are three aspects to man. Now earlier, you know, I mentioned that the ancient cultures thought that there were three aspects to man: body, mind, and soul, or body, mind, and spirit. What the Europeans have done through Sigmund Freud is to develop these three areas and claim that these are the foundation now of I and I as a person. As a person. And this idea is going to lead to what you're going to call theories on personality. Sigmund Freud, when you look him up, you know, F-R-E-U-D, he has been one of the biggest fraud as it comes to black people coming to know themselves. So Sigmund Freud come up with these three sections of the self, of the person. He call one the id, and one the ego, and one the superego. And so this has what has been applied now as a model of personality. And nearly everybody in the Western world, especially the black people, they put that model on us as a model of Freud's psychology and theory of personality. And everybody who's a person has a personality. And the personality refers to your behaviors and your thinkings and your habits that helps to develop your personality, your desires, your expectations. All of these things now contribute to this aspect of yourself. But what the Europeans have told us is that in the first place, we have these three parts. One part is the id, and they tell us that that part of our personality has animal instincts, animal behavior, and cravings, and passions, and all of these wild behaviors. So right away, we are classified as animal in our psychology. This is how they refashion black people. So they give us a psychology that has a foundation in the animal world. And again, that animal world psychology is reinforced by another scientist called Charles Darwin, who comes with this theory that human beings and man evolved from the primates. So they work together. So between Darwin and Sigmund Freud, black people have been convinced that they have animal behaviors and that they're from the animal kingdom. You know, I man black reject that. I man is no animal. I man is divine, man. But then the psychology that they give us is overpowering. So there's this id, that is all about animal behavior. And then he constructed another idea called the ego. And this is where black people now have trouble. Because this ego is something that is artificial. This ego is something that is not grounded in culture. Ego is not grounded in history. This ego is grounded upon animal behavior and feelings and passions. So when black man adopt this ego, him get soft. Yeah, him get soft. Lose him power. Because he's now disconnected from roots. Disconnected from him foundation, from him history, from him culture. Because this ego thing now is attached to him id. And it is all about animal behavior and instincts. So, right away, I and I being reconstructed outside ourselves. So we have this id, we have this ego, and then on top of that now we have a thing called a super ego. Remember now, people, these are ideas that are being constructed and then reinforced through the education system that we begin to accept it as reality. Sigmund Freud, id, ego, super ego. And what is a super ego? That is the area now of your consciousness that you must store your morals and your conscience. So this is where now the society now program you through religious beliefs and educational training how to have a conscience, what you must be afraid of, what you must feel guilty about. And realize that a lot of these men who are leaders in these positions, they don't have any conscience. Yeah, they don't have any conscience. They have no super ego. So something is amiss. So the African now, the black man who has been trapped in this Freudian psychology, who has an id and an ego and a super ego, that individual hard to unite with anybody else because the ego is erratic. The ego is actually unstable. The ego has no confidence in itself. The ego is a doubting creature. The ego is paranoid. The ego is jealous. So until a man abandon ego, especially the black people now, black man, we have to let go ego, you know. You ever make ego die a natural death. And then once you begin to approach that type of attitude towards ego, something will happen within. Because with the death of ego will come the birth of another force. And the force that I want to speak of now is a force called the I. With the death of the ego, the I emerge out of the blackness to take up the center space and to be the director now of the whole ship. And the I will recognize now that it's not an ego. The I is an intellectual, eternal force. The I represents the center of consciousness. The I is the center of power, and the I is the center of reality. So we have to reorganize this trinity given to us by European psychology and begin to think out, can there be a trinity that is appropriate to black people? Can I and I have a trinity that is driven and centered upon the I? Realize, of course, that there's me and that there's myself. So I'm going to put it out as an alternative to fraud, that the black man has an I, and obviously there's a me, and then there's myself. So we'll work out that trinity of me, myself, and I. Metamorphosis.
Babes, just follow me now. Right over there, sir. Through that hole there.
But babes, be careful if you go in. The place too dark.
Just right over there, sir. Right over where the hole there.
Aye, chum man, all mosquito bite me. Babes, me no like come on them place after dark, you know.
So wait, are they little back them afraid of? Chum man, we almost reach.
And them something that me can't bother with, you know. That's why me make sure I walk with all my Bible. You think me gonna make rolling calf reach me like last year? But kiss my brown fall, how them people are, how the place is so crowded, how when they
Fan Fusion Episode 5, Tipsy Islands, Saturday, July 7th, starting at 7 p.m. sharp at the Bayview Waterfront Property, Oysters Bay, Port Antonio. Be there.
Who said that woman can't done? Tell them say the woman don't come to done.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close. We never close.
This feeling is taking over me. I'm so excited.
Feel the euphoria.
Tuesdays from 5 to 9 p.m. with the Master Mixer Musical Maestro Digital Team.
Giving a total satisfaction with melodies and memories by the score. With the widest selection of genres and hits. So you don't know the program you turn up, you know. So you know Patek's a full dance, the one you slap with.
Digital and we are party. Yeah, we flawless. Euphoria the program. Every Tuesday.
5 to 9. Every Tuesday.
With the Musical Maestro Digital.
Planning a party, club night out, stage show, a gospel concert, or even a business sales event? Let Styles FM be a part of your promoting tool. Take advantage of our low-priced promotion packages with commercials, interviews, giveaways, reviews, and much more. We have special offers when you mix and match and bundle your options. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Styles FM for the most effective way to exploit your marketing dollar.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
Bought or sold. If you are living in a tenant yard,
Metamorphosis, talking about liberation psychology. We need a liberation psychology to challenge this mind that has been colonized over 500 years. And critical to colonization is transforming the natives into inferiors. That is essential to maintaining a colony, where those who come in as the conquerors must maintain that superiority attitude over those who they come and see. So inferiority now becomes a means and a way of maintaining the colony. And inferiority is not only enforced brutally, but is enforced psychologically. Inferiority. Now, one of the things we have to look into now, is the psychology of I. How do we view ourselves psychologically? Do we continue to use theories, psychological theories developed by Europeans? Or do we, as an African people, begin to look into our own blackness and develop our own black psychology? Because you ask a man about himself and how makeup and his personality, and probably get boggled down because he has not spent enough time trying to decipher what really is a personality. How does a personality develop? When the egg and the sperm meet, does there exist any such thing as personality? Or does it have to evolve through time and socialization and so on and so forth? One of the ways we have to look to see who we really are is to examine the nature of our connectivity to other life forms. So in the Western plantation, and them tell us that there are two life forms, two kingdoms of life, basically. And if I ask a man how many forms of life you really have, they might just tell you, so well, there's really two in us, plants and animals. I'm leave it at that and continue his merry way. But as African people now, as black people, we have to check out whether that is enough. Why is this a pair? Where's the third? Where's the trichotomy to the dichotomy? We have to start look for the third every time now, because realize the number 3 is important. When they say that two things exist, we have to look for the third one. Because there must be something to create a balance. The third. So we have been trained to look at two. Look within a binary, within a dichotomy. Everything is within two, either or either. We have to train our intelligence to look at the broader picture where it can be neither. Or it can be both. So this way of thinking now, where we classify ourselves now outside of race into life forms and kingdoms. Them tell you say two kingdoms exist, plant and animal. Some will tell you there's a kingdom called the minerals. In other words, our bones are a life form unto themselves, really driven by minerals. But we're talking in a more general way now. We just normally narrow it down to plants and animals. And once you limit yourself to that perception, then no matter how conscious you are as an African or as a black man, you have to put yourself into one of those categories, classifications. Now, 99% of us will not say plants. Nobody's going to really say them come from a plant. So I'm and black people say so. Because I understand the closer link between black people and plants. But to maintain the general discourse, if I ask you if you're a plant or an animal, which one you come from, you're not going to tell me a plant. You're going to say animal. And you're going to classify that by telling me that you are the highest form of animal. No, hear this. So you are the highest form of animal. And I'm saying to the eye, all the ones and ones who hold that idea are far away from themselves. Far away from themselves. Because this whole concept of animals is a European orientation that. And it is reinforced by them psychology and it's reinforced by them biology. They speak of themselves coming from the primates. And so the primates evolved into Homo sapiens. And Homo sapiens became human beings. And I'm telling you now, African, that you is a human being. So if you hold that now, that is where you are. You're stuck in the animal kingdom. So where now do we go to find our ancestral memories? If you think that your foundation of your psychology and your makeup is in the animal kingdom, where then do you find your ancestral memories of the ancient people of genius who have gone through 100,000 years ago? It will not be there. It will not be there as long as you hold the concept of you coming from an animal. The ancient memories of our African people will be put to the side. So we have to claim those memories. And to claim those memories, we have to reject that animal genesis that they put in on us. So what is it then? I'm saying that there's not those two forms of life, then there are really three kingdoms. There's the plants, there's the animals, and there is man. Yeah, capital M-A-N, original man, a divine being who was ascended from the gods. So that is I and I Genesis. We're coming from the gods. So our memory will be different. So if we begin to know to re-examine now our own makeup, and how do we tap now into our memories that are genetically based. So Sigmund Freud and his theory, along with René Descartes and these other Europeans, try to tell I and I that we're born with a blank mind. They have a fancy word for it. It's called tabula rasa. It means that we are born with no knowledge and no information. We're born blank. And it's the Europeans now and their society that's going to write upon our minds and give us information and knowledge. If you hold on to that idea, then you have no space for your ancestral memories. So you see the conflict in the teaching. Once you embrace that animal kingdom theory, then you have disconnected yourself from your ancestral forces. You have to recognize that ancestral forces are stored in memory. And so your memory has to be connected to anciency and not to animals. So our collective unconscious, that is a region that we need to explore. That third and deeper region of the brain, the collective unconscious, that carries a memory that I am saying is genetic memory, passed on through the parents. So I and I born with powers, talents, that only need the environment now to bring it to full consciousness. So I am going to say to the item now that this Freudian theory of personality needs to be rejected by conscious black people. Conscious enough to recognize that our foundation of our personality does not rest in the animal kingdom. It rests in the ancestral forces. And ancestral forces are our memories that we carry, and these memories are stored not just in our brain, but critically they are stored in our skin. So the Trinity within I is me, myself, and I. Foundation. And you can speak to thyself because each I speak to the I self. Check it out. I said to myself. Yeah, isn't that how we speak? I said to myself. And myself replied, yes, it is I. Metamorphosis.
It's only inflation.
genocide, the way we do you. Consideration, desperation, eradication, now we do you. Gamblings, hustlings, scufflings, the way we do you. Keep up, stay broke, bad luck, the way we do you. What a moderation, domination, dominion. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, yo, and not only inflation. Domination, yo. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, yo. Promises, apologies, diseases, are where we do you. Power cut, water shut, hungry cut, are where we do you. Con man, gunman, hangman, are where we do you. Courthouse, jailhouse, detention, are where we do you. What a moderation, domination, dominion. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, yo, and not be a starvation. Domination, yo. It's all over creation. Not only in a jam, yo. Ignorance, take chance, maintenance, how way we do you. Hunger, soda, finger, how way we do you. Borrowing, loafing.
Yeah, metamorphosis, going through, delving and digging into this whole concept of three, the Trinity. You know, we have been told, again, in the Western world, to view everything as a binary. You know, them lock you up into this either thinking. So it's pure conflict, you know. Check it out. If your worldview is resolved by either, a pure conflict. Because either your way or no way at all. Either. And so it's oftentimes, this is why we can reason. And we can move beyond disputes and disagreements because of this either mentality. In the reality, you know, the tree is really the foundation. The trinary. The trichotomy. But they don't teach you about the trichotomy. They tell you that you must deal with the dichotomies and everything is in either. So, even within morality now, when we speak about good and evil, it's as if there is no other force except good and evil, but there must be a third force. And there is always a third force. But because of how Rome trained black people to think, generally, we ignore that third force to our own detriment of conflict and war. So besides good and evil, we must be conscious of indifference. Indifference is a very powerful force. And oftentimes indifference causes either good or evil to rule. Because indifference can tip the scale in either direction. So I'm going to talk about forward and backward. There's also neutral. Check out your car gear. Check out how the gear on the car work. You go forward and you go in reverse, but they have to go through neutral. And neutral is a gear. So we learn to open our way of thinking to reduce tension and stress and to make more room for communication. So the animal kingdom now, they lock us up into this binary now again. That you're either animal or plant. And I'm saying to you now that there's a way out. Because I, man, is what I say. Man. I is no animal. I don't more want to say I am a plant. Because I share more, not more, I share a great deal with the green plant. At the level of functioning of our skin. And the leaves, identical. So we have to look around ourselves to see what is the third force that would bring the balance to whatever it is we are thinking and we are doing. So we're going beyond Sigmund Freud and his cage They lock up black people into this personality model that makes us animal in our behavior and disconnects us now from our true potential. Disconnects us now from the memory. They are just, the European them now today, just coming to the conclusion that memories are passed on genetically. Them just arriving at that. So I know for centuries. And that's how much talent is passed on through genetics, memory. And so we have to recognize now that we are not of the animal kingdom because we have a consciousness. And this consciousness is separate from the animals because we have a I consciousness. Yeah, the animals, I am saying, lack I consciousness. The ability to think upon itself. Yeah. So I is no animal. I have imagination. The I is a divine spark out of the blackness of everything. So the animals don't possess this I sense. The animals are conscious of the outer world and of their own cravings. But the consciousness of the animal has not reached the I consciousness state. They are not able to think of themselves as separate entities and then to reflect upon their thoughts. So there is a distinction between man and animals. And it all has to do with consciousness. And I'm suggesting that I possess an I sense, an I consciousness. And the consciousness allows I and I to think and to reflect upon our own thoughts. What is unfortunate is that most Negroes, Christians, slaves, they are hardly conscious of the I that is within them. They are just a little bit above the animals in point of consciousness. Because their I is almost totally a matter of what the body want. Satisfaction of them appetites and them passions and getting personal comfort, securing that and power. So we find that a totally different behavior. So the I must check the I self. What is in the state of the I that is within? Do the I have an I that is functional? Or are you functioning from the level of the ego? Because it is the ego now that is really concentrating and gratifying passions and personal comforts and searching for power and craving for passions and them things. That is what the ego is all about. So until the I recognize itself as a center of thought and influence and power, it will not be able to manifest these qualities. So within the construct of European psychology, with ego, id and superego, there is no space for development for black people. It's a prison. It's a psychological prison. We have to break out of that and reconstruct our own selves. And it's important that we realize that there is a Trinity within. There's a Trinity within. And the center of that Trinity is the I. And there is the me. And there is myself. And the liberation psychology speaks to me, myself, and I. And how to work these three forces into synchrony that the black man and woman can rise out of the state of servitude and acquiescence to forces that are alien. How can I and I liberate ourselves from an alien trinity that controls our family life, to a trinity that resurrects the female and make her supreme. Metamorphosis.
This your system, crucial. In your this your rhythm, a crucial. I'm out on the rock now, with no clothes on my back, yo. No shoes on my feet now, I've got nothing to eat, yo. Not even little flour, a crucial. To mix little dumpling, a crucial. Said no rice, a crucial. To not little Sunday rice and peas, a crucial. Crucial. Good gosh, it's crucial. Whoa, it's crucial. It's your pressure, crucial. It's getting dreader and dreader, crucial. My back on the wall now, my belly filled with white squall, yo. Got no job to get paid now, not even borrows to spend now, not even little sugar, a crucial. To mix liquor wash, my gosh, a crucial. No bread nor butter, a crucial. Can't even make liquor supper, a crucial.
Clifford Guest House, sponsor of Metamorphosis on Monday nights from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight with Dr. Iman Blak. Located at 15 Queen Street, Port Antonio, that's Titchfield Hill, they offer accommodations for up to 1 month. Call them at 285-0610 for more information.
This is Ricardo Suave, inviting you to tune into Smoothic, the show for the ladies, with DJ Prestige, from 9 to midnight every Tuesday on Styles 96.1 FM, Portland's best.
I've been watching you.
Remember Styles FM on social media. View us on YouTube, Styles FM Radio. Follow us on Instagram at Styles FM. Like us on Twitter at Styles FM 961. Become a fan on Facebook, Styles FM 96.1.
Do you have or are you seeking a place to rent, seeking employment or have a job vacancy? Are you selling a car or having a garage sale? Then come see us. Let Styles do the advertising for you and you'll be on your way in no time. Contact us at 876-286-9216 or 439-5160. Advertising Style. Advertise with Styles.
Are you thinking of a place, extraordinary place where you can get a wide variety of Jamaican cuisine, scrumptious local dishes, and at the most affordable price? Zilla's Kitchen has the widest menu to suit your appetite and lifestyle. We're located at Bridge Street, Port Antonio. Place your order for pickup or delivery service. Call us at 453-6030. That's 453-6030. Zilla's Kitchen, the restaurant of choice. We never close.
Me, myself, and I. A triangle of being.
Be
again, Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Blak here. Just hoping that the ones doing their own application of thinking, investigating this concept called Trinity. And the general impression that we have been given over the last 400 years is that it's a religious concept. And within that concept now is this mystery of both God and his offspring, his begotten son, only begotten son. And that this begotten son is the same as the Father. And not only are they two in one, but there's a third part, third element. And this element is given the concept of a Holy Ghost. And the Ghost is given a male characteristic because it is the Holy Ghost that visited Mary. So we'd assume that for the process to bring forth life, it wouldn't be a female energy to visit Mary, it would be a male energy. So realize that within the whole conception of that Christian Trinity, it's three males. Boggery. This is the Boggerman thing start. And the Roman Catholic Church is a main proponent of the buggery behavior. Pedophile is rampant, is almost, they have normalized pedophile behavior within the Roman Catholic Church. So it's a dysfunctional situation. And it reflects on how African people now have developed dysfunctional families. Because the idea of the Trinity is so penetrating that I and I have brought that Trinity concept now into the construction of our families. And within this construction now, the woman now has been reduced and diminished in her power. And the leadership of the household now has been taken over by a male. A male in the image of a son. A male that is drawn in the image of Michelangelo's family. And so this is a disturbance now of the black family through ideology. And we embrace this Holy Trinity and have also replaced within the family now the leadership. It is no longer the female that is the head of our families. It is now the son. It is now the son of this divinity that we call the Creator. And so the whole African family has been turned upside down. Where the male has been marginalized and disrespected, power removed, white man abuse and disrespect that man in front of his woman, that the man has lost all of his self-esteem, lose himself awareness, lose himself respect. And so with a disturbed family structure, injected now is this concept of a Trinity. And within the Trinity now, it becomes, we find the head now of our now, the new head of our household. That the son now becomes the head of the household and have more authority and power than the man living in the house physically. That the man in the house no longer gets any credit for anything that is done. All credit now is due to the son that is hanging up in a picture in everybody's house. So this idea of a Christian Trinity has destroyed the African family structure. Psychologically has destroyed the family. That the black woman now no longer looks to the black man as her protector and as her savior. She now looks to the white image of a son, the son of a white creator God. So I said to the item now, we have to revisit this Trinity. The one that has been forced upon us now since we come into the Western plantation. And how it has affected the psychology of the man, the woman, the child, and the family. Yeah, 2,000 years, 400 years, 500 years have the same philosophy. Wherein his Father, Son, and Holy Ghost There is no mother, no reverence to the mother, no reverence to Mother Nature, no respect for the female principle. How can a plane fly on one wing? How can you abandon the Creator, which is the almighty feminine principle, and think that all males can run the world? So you see why we're moving into the same-sex life. You see how it impacts sexuality and its orientation, and how we can now justify these people who are disoriented in their sexuality. The ancient Africans' concept of the family always had a female and a woman at the head. The Trinity must have a feminine principle. They must be balanced. The atoms have the negative and the positive and the neutral. The family needs the male, the female, and the child. Any other construction is alien and destructive. And if we want to upgrade our family life, we have to eject that Trinity that rejects the female and puts in place a ghost. There is a brethren from Ocherias named Dave. Dave say he want me to think about the old concept of the 3 6s, 666. He want to know, is it a part of the whole brainwashing, or is it actually what they say it stands for? Dave from Ocherias. All right, my brethren, we're working on that one. Number 666. And the Roman construction and the whole Pope Paul and the Vatican tied up in that 666. I'm on free from that.
I say we don't care for the Nenasa. Jaja bring forth
there are 3 primary colors. 3 primary colors. There are also secondary colors. And nowhere in the colors, neither primary nor secondary, we find black. So again, may I show the item, say black is not a color. Check it.
Bring forth milk and honey, milk
I'm a natty, not a trailer. I'm a Rastaman, not a trailer. See my natty tray, I just let it grow. Grow and grow and grow. It feels so good. Said I'm a living man, and I've got chatting brains. If you're not happy, children, then you must be blue. Must be blue. I'm a natty, 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 not a trailer. I'm a Rastaman, not a trailer. I'm a natty, 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 not a trailer. Yes, give up all silence. His Majesty me. Jah Rastafari. A chapter a day, keep the devil away. Behold the heavenly truth, yeah, 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 yeah. The works of His Majesty I done proclaim. Behold the Emperor, the works is perfect. Perfection is the key to life. Behold the Emperor. Yeah, yeah, now the works are beautiful down here in this church. In this soul sufferation and thy people. Kings and laws of laws rise every day now. Rise and guide that people through this struggle, this struggle, this struggle. Yes. Kings of kings and laws of laws and
You know that if you score 3 goals in a game, it's called a hat trick. Yes, something about the number 3 that gives it a special meaning. The Trinity is a concept that is ancient, more ancient than what we are led to imagine. What we have been locked up into is a Catholic concept of a Trinity. And that concept is very recent. Very, very recent in terms of time. But when we know our story, when we know our history, we can recognize thousands of years. This whole notion of 3 in 1 and 1 in 3, as it relates to deities, is an Egyptian Trinity concept that the Hebrews hijack and the Christians control and reformat it. In the Egyptian mythology, there are the 3 characters: Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Now, in the Egyptian myth, Horus and his father, Osiris, they were frequently interchanged. as in I and my Father are one. And according to the Egyptian mythology, the Father and the Son were inseparable and of one essence. The pharaohs know. What the pharaohs did know was they stepped into the Trinity on earth as Horus. And they became the heavenly element. They became Osiris after death. And in this endless cycle, Isis functioned as sister, wife, and mother. A sort of Holy Spirit that kept the whole thing going. Isis, who is a woman, the female, was a crucial essence of the sacred triad. And the Egyptians had their hierarchy of trinities. Isis, Osiris, and Horus. Amun, Ra, Mut, and Kunz. Atum, Shu, and Tifnut. So, for 4,000 years of Egyptian history, every pharaoh was the incarnation of the youthful Horus. And every pharaoh was the son of Isis, who was the goddess mother. After death, Osiris took care of the dead pharaoh in the kingdom of the dead. So, the Catholic claimed that the first three letters of Jesus' name in Greek was IHS. And it's really one of the ways that the Egyptians would use to refer to the sun god Osiris. Well, rather to Osiris, rather, just to the god Osiris. So I said to them, no, even the concept of Amen, when you look at the Christian's Lord's Prayer, it's really coming out of an Egyptian hymn to Osiris. And it begins by saying, O Amen, who art in heaven. And if you realize, Amen was also invoked at the end of every prayer. Amen was the god of one of the gods of ancient Egypt. The Christians today think that the word Amen means, let it be. False information. So we have to know ourselves. And to know ourselves, we have to know our own story. And we have to deconstruct and become fearless in thinking through ideas. Because ideas rule the world. And ideas are created by the brain of man. Just that we have been convinced that the European brain is superior. And we think that everything that comes from the European brain is superior. But what we need to remember is that before the European brain came out of the cave, the ancient Africans were the creators and designers of mathematics and chemistry and physics and psychology and all the various things that are prevalent today. As I bring them out through our own brain power. So we're just simply reclaiming it. We reclaim the Trinity as a concept that is more ancient than the Catholics, more ancient than the Romans, more ancient than the Greeks. It is in nature. It is in the atom. Metamorphosis. Fire, water, and air, lightning, thunder, and earthquake. Trinity forces.
To the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. To the west. Talking about Jonestown, Trenchtown, concrete jungle too. the best cali weed you ever drew. So why should you run and hide from the red sea, the blue sea, the cocky clothes too? I had feel liquid in a bush. I had feel like chillum in a gully. We want to come out in the open where the breeze can blow it so far away, to the north, to the south, to the east and to the west, to the west. Ooh, now we want to be free. Ooh, from St. John's, it comes to you, the best cali weed you ever drew. So why should you run and hide from the red sea, the blue sea, the cocky clothes too? Yes, tired feel liquid in a bush, tired feel like pipe in a gully. We want to come out in the open where the breeze can blow it so far away, to the north, to the south, to the east and to the west. Too much you lease, too much.
Bubba Rastaman said, Garvey, Selassie and Emmanuel. Holy Trinity.
Tired feel liquid in a bush. We wanna be free. We wanna be free. Please, Mr. Officer, use up your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Please, Mr. Officer, please, Mr. Officer, cool down your temper. Please, Mr. Officer, cool down your temper. All these years you overfought royal under training. Now you got the outer road. Use up your discretion. I said, please, Mr. Officer, cool down your temper. Please, Mr. Officer, don't you shame off of me head. Time after time, citizens complaining over the radio about the citizens' brutality and only for ignorance. Please, Mr. Officer, cool down your temper. Please, Mr. Officer, don't you bother aim up on the head. Please, 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 Mr. Officer.
Hear the sounds of Jacob Killamilla, one of the ancient, one of the man them who coming from the, what you call the upper class, who recognize the power of Rastafari, became a serious spokesman for the liberation of the ganja, died in very suspicious circumstances. I want to come a little bit into Jamaica, because I can't really come out of this program here unless really make some points about what's going on locally. I won't even bother much with the international thing, because that is just about the same. Everything that happens, you can call Trump name, but we're going to leave him out. Because what's happening in Jamaica here, especially over the last couple of days in Western Jamaica, is very, very alarming. And I started to make a talk about this on Saturday morning with my colleague, Colin Anthony, and the Smooth Sailing. Within that period of the program, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, the Smooth Sailing gets a little bit of ruffle. The waves are a bit ruffled at 10 o'clock. And then it gets smooth again in another 10 minutes after. But the ruffling comes from examining the level of the violence in Jamaica now and where it reached. Wherein 7 can be killed in one go and 10 more wounded in one go. So like 17 people get shot up in one go in a very remote area. And the whole all kind of fingers pointing And the easiest thing to say is scamming. And everybody just jump behind that. But this gone beyond scamming. This is a war now, ethnic. This is like ethnic cleansing taking place in them places there. And we're not getting the full details, but the solution to it, I think, goes beyond just police and soldier. And as I was saying to my brethren, we need a structured restructuring of our policing and governance, the whole way of how the island is governed. Need a revolutionary change. And it doesn't mean any violence that is brought on for unforeseen and unknown reasons. We're talking about structural readjustment. And as I was saying to the item, Jamaica now is so complex as a society, so complicated and so distant, yet so close, that it cannot be managed from a single central point anymore. Jamaica has evolved and outgrown what we call central government, coming from one parish or two parishes combined as one, called Kingston and St. Andrew. We have to rise to the transition and the new times that we're in. And we're doing it in a very unconscious way, and we need to do it fully. The British left a model here of 3 counties, Cornwall, Middlesex and Surrey, which is another way of really locking us into the British culture and psychology. Those 3 areas were basically set up for tax purposes, or to collect taxes out of the island. But we're going beyond that now, and we need to find a way to structure the society where we can have it more easily manageable. And the violence is an example that shows that we need to change the way we manage. So the violence today now is concentrated in Western Jamaica, in the region that is called Region 4, I think. Western Jamaica, from Trelawney right around to Westmoreland. And I'm saying from the item to the item from the longest time that the country needs to be restructured in its governance, where each region gets more autonomy, more political autonomy. So the violence that we're seeing now in Western Jamaica, it should not be, there should be no attempt to solve that from Kingston. And I'm saying that each region, each conference, each confederation need to have its own commission of police. Each region, and we have 4 of these regions, it's already operating because the Ministry of Education don't recognize these 4 regions. And to a certain extent, the police recognize the 4 regions. Western Jamaica, Northeast Jamaica, South Central, and Kingston and St. Andrew. 4 confederations, 4 conferences, 4 regions. And these regions need to be more attended to by people who are actually in the region. So between Trelawney and Westmoreland, we need a commissioner of police to hold a post. The same thing between St. Mary and St. Thomas. We need a commissioner of police around here. We need one in Kingston and St. Andrew. We need one in South Central. That whenever there are issues, like what we're seeing in Western Jamaica, it can be dealt with on spot. And we have people who can concentrate on the region in which the violence is being perpetrated. So I'm saying now, let us consolidate the country by putting power in the regions, to the extent that maybe even the fire licensing authority, each confederation could have an office. The same thing for licensing of motor vehicles. So each confederation would have its own license plate. It's the same way like you go to foreign and you see a man with a car license plate marked New York, and you see the next man with a license plate called Virginia. You know where those vehicles come from. It don't necessarily mean that the people who drive the car come from those places, but we can identify where the car is located and insured and so on. So I may recommend that we have a new way of governing the country. 2 regions, confederations. Each confederation should have a governor. So we end up with four governors in the country. to run the country at the local level. National government will be a whole different issue. But we need to concentrate on our region, the confederations. Roads want to fix. Water is needed. No more can we depend on central government from Kingston and St. Andrew. Between St. Thomas and St. Anne's, we need to have a local government, a regional government that can deal with water for the 4 parishes. That can deal with roads for the 4 parishes. So if we move away from what is into what we can create out of our own selves. And from the 4 confederations, we can also develop our sports. National teams can be selected from the 4 confederations. So it's just a matter of thinking outside the British framework and thinking what is constructive and what is more upgrading and beneficial to the black people in general, to the majority of people who pay taxes and get no medical services. So make us rethink it. The violence will not resolve simply by a bigger gun on top of a bigger gun. Restructuring the way we govern and give autonomy to the region. Allow police to work in the confederation. So if a policeman is working in the Eastern Confed, we can have policemen along the borders between the confederations. We can do more by reorganizing and restructuring rather than applying more force. Metamorphosis.
Jolly Josie, oh, Jolly Josie, a Jolly Josie, a Jolly Josie, the people's transportation, a Jolly Josie. Jolly Josie, the people's transportation. Take a number 22, we go look for Sister Lou. Try to catch number 77 to reach around the world. A Jolly Josie, a Jolly Josie. Please to dance all night, too weak to hold it back, strong enough to give your heart attack. The situation sweet my soul, as long as I live I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live I shall sing, and I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live I shall sing. In my days I've seen many faces, and been many places. Too late to turn back now. If I do, Jah will strike me down. Yes, I have places to go. Yes, and a lot of things to do. If you think I'd give it up now, as long as I live, I shall sing. As long as I live, and as long as I live I shall sing, and I shall sing, as long as I live, and as long as I live I shall sing. I stand firm on my own 2 feet, and I won't ever accept defeat. My success is destined to come, 'cause my heart is willing and my spirit is strong. You know, sister, that I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, and them can't match this. Me say I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, no them can't budge this. It was a fool who built up on sand and not stone. Give thanks every day for the strength in my bones. Say I column this, foundation this, real rock, rock, rock. I am wiser because I've been foolish, but I still made it through it. Now I'm better, firm and more rooted. He who thinks better, I go do it. Trusting on the works of the Father and just work little harder you will reap the fruits of what you do. Beg you stay true to the other, stay true to yourself. Me want to hear me sister and me brother say, you know, see I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, and them can't budge this. Me say I column this, foundation this, I real rock this, no them can't budge this. It was a fool who built up on sand and not stone. Give thanks every day for the strength in my bones. Say I column this, foundation this, real rock, yeah. We are monuments, God made monumental, ever balancing the physical and mental. You carry rags out, you laugh like it's a rental. Remember your presence is not accidental, no. So let your light shine from the core. Seek your blessing, let the Father
Yes,
bless
Metamorphosis, Dr. Iman Blak here, healing up all the ones and ones who have been forwarding their thoughts through the text and through the WhatsApp. Yeah, we see that some thinking is taking place out there. A man asked me what the 367 in the 666 could mean. It has a whole lot of things. I won't try to get into it into this program. Maybe I'll take it up the next time. But we just explore the whole notion of Trinity, tree, and the significance of tree in your life. What does tree mean? And how we can investigate our own makeup with this concept of 3 parts, this body, mind, soul concept. And do you acknowledge that you really have these 3 parts? The body part is easy because it is visible. The other parts now become problematic because now we talk about mind and spirit. And some will even mention soul. So we can speak about 4 concepts now. And some of them, maybe 2 of them are the same. One thing we're going to say that the body remains the temple. The body is a material foundation. The body is a material base. How do we know about mind and spirit and soul now? Well, I can say to them that out of the body and within the body, we have a specific organ now that we know as the brain. And the brain is responsible now for creating brain waves. And these brain waves register themselves also as thoughts. So we know about body, and we can call the activities of the brain mental activities. So we can speak to the concept of mind. So we can speak about body and mind. What now is the spirit? Or what is the soul? And we have to check our own makeup. Because if we are a Trinitarian force, and we have a body, and we can speak to mind, then what is the spirit? And what is the soul? Are they identical? And if they're not identical, what is the difference between spirit and soul? And what is it that the black man possesses? We have to think out these things our own selves. And the European has introduced us to concepts that we always had a feeling about. Deep in our subconscious, collective unconscious mind, memory, we have these feelings. So the notion of a soul is a perplexing one. What is a soul? And there are so many differences and disagreements as to what is a soul. There are some religious denominations who deny the existence of a soul. And there are others who claim that the body is the soul. There are also others like me who maintain that the soul is at the bottom of my feet, where I find all organs of my body are connected to it. My foot bottom, or my sole of my foot. So the spirit now is something that we have to be spending a little bit more time searching out. What is it? Is it something that you're born with or something that develops? And is it connected now to your history and your genetics? Is your spirit coming from your genes? Is it connected to your ancestry? Because we have to check ourselves, where we have come from. The Christian Bible tells us about soul being connected to breath. Because in the myth and the fable of Adam and Eve, breath was blown into Adam and Adam became a living soul. Most black people in the Western world start with the concept of soul right there, so they equate the soul with the breath. But at the same time, if you lose your breath, you die. Does it mean you have lost your soul? We only query what them tell we. So the Trinity within, I man bring it down to a simple way of looking at it. I am saying the body exists. And the body is symbolized by the me. And the me is the beginning of the Trinity that is within. There is also I, which is a supreme force within. But between the I and the me, there is myself. And I'm saying myself is a creation through the tensions of I and me. And I'm putting these thoughts to pen and paper. I'm in the process of writing what I'm calling my first serious piece of literature since leaving the university in 2007 thereabouts. I kind of shake off all that they have influenced me with, and I've recovered my original self. So this will be my first original writings from them times there till this time. It's liberation psychology. It's the Blak Trinity. It's me, myself, and I. So I'm share it as we go through. And we'll take your feed forward, whether on Facebook, or whether on WhatsApp, or whether through the text. Because I know a posit, a different psychology, a personality. And this Trinity concept is revolutionary and radically different from what the Europeans put on us through Sigmund Freud. Freud has locked us up into an id, an ego, and a superego. I'm Blak saying, banish the ego and liberate the I, recognize the me and the power of myself. Metamorphosis.
You know it's the Dog House Productions, and now we're making introduction to the world. Well, you said the wicked one, them can't bear to see me face, and you said the bad mind one them end up in a very bad state. At a fire when me bunny pound them, they all got eradicated. Ragamuffin, no boy can bounce no food out of you we play. One them can't bear to see me face, and you see the bad mind one them end up in a very bad state. At a fire, yes, me bunny pound them, they all got eradicated. Ragamuffin, the boy can't bounce no food out of every place. They only smile with you, but them heart is not clean.
So healing up all those who are on the island, right in Port Antonio particularly, right here in Bombrook, right here in Titchfield Hill, Free School, Anchovy, Prospect, land settlements, heal up Jamax, heal up the ones in the valley, West Portland, East Portland, Long Road, King Jones Highway, Hector's River people, Port St. Thomas, the far Dalvey and Duckens Field and all the various hills of St. Thomas. Metamorphosis, I'm Blak saying heal, give thanks for the item participating. Heal all the people in St. Mary, heal up to Pauline. So you're approaching half a century, you're young. You're supposed to just beginning to look at life now as a pleasure. Because once you reach half a century, it means you can look behind you for 50 paces, and you can look ahead for another 50 paces, and you make decisions now without any sort of doubt. So we say give congratulations when that day come. Pauline in St. Mary, heal up to Sexy in Galena, heal up to Charles in Richmond, and heal up to Claude over there in Far Out, heal up all the ones in the North American scenario, whether in Canada or whether in the states of anxiety. We say heal and hope the weather is moving towards warmth. Heal up the ones in the Caribbean, various islands close by, heal up the ones in the European scenario, and heal up the ones on the continent of Africa, who recognize metamorphosis as a point of interaction, where reasoning is the norm and thinking is norm, and there's no box to think out of. Man just think freely.
This is no fantasy. This is reality. This is what someone keeps on doing to me. Someone keeps on reaping what I sow.
And so we continue to heal up ones and ones in St. Catherine, Osa border, You got the ones them in Manchester, Mandeville, and St. Elizabeth and down that section of the island, Westmoreland, the man, them hold it down and be calm. Be calm. And think, count to 3 before you do anything. That might be just enough space for the brain to think in an organized and constructive way. Yeah, so that's what I said in this program. I work out number 3. And at the same time, we're saying that the female must be resurrected. Because black supremacy is not about black people trying to seek revenge on Caucasians. Black supremacy is about reconstructing the black family. And in that reconstruction, the female takes her rightful place. And the male takes his rightful supporting role. But the female have to come to grips with herself. Because she has been traumatized through the experiences over the last 2,000 years. She has lost faith and confidence in her male. And so she must reboot herself. Recognize her role, not as one to take revenge because of what the man has done. But look at the greater picture. Think on behalf of the race. And let us heal each other and let us be merciful to each other. Because all we have is each other. Yeah, metamorphosis.
Guiding I eternally. Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free. Guide I. Whispering inside of me. Guide I. I feel peace and harmony. It is in silence that we will always hear. Sit quiet and meditate. Let the good vibes infiltrate. Even when it's dark, don't you ever have no fear, yeah. Cast away your troubles, I say, just for a moment or a day, yeah. Guide I.
In the words of one of the great yogi masters, the I is eternal. It passes unharmed through the fire, through the air, through the water. Sword and spear cannot kill or wound the I. It cannot die. The trials of the physical life are but as dreams to it. Resting secure in the knowledge of the I, man may smile at the worst the world has to offer. And raising his hand, he may bid them disappear into the mist from which they emerge. Blessed is he who can say, with understanding, I. Peace unto the man them and woman them, unto the ones and ones. I, man Blak, out.
Guide I. It's the voice that sets me free. Guide I. Whispering inside of me. Guide I. I feel peace and harmony.
Until the I recognize itself as a center of thought, influence and power, it will not be able to manifest these qualities. And in proportion, as it recognizes its position as a center, so it will be able to manifest these qualities. The I, center of reality.